conference. Game of the week. Illinois State, one of the most improved teams in the Midwest, on the road to meet the Shockers of Wichita State at Koch Arena here in Wichita. Hi, everyone. I'm Mitch Holtis, and welcome to a Saturday night in the Valley. There's a difference between perception and reality. This is perception, the preseason poll, which had Illinois State dead last, where they finished a year ago. Wichita State behind Southern Illinois. The reality is Wichita State leads the league, and Illinois State is on the back porch, ready to jump into the championship race. I'm joined now by the coach, Charlie Spoonhour. And Spoon, we've got the Valley Player of the Week here for Illinois State.
Well, Lorenzo Gordon's been a great addition to the ball club. He scores the ball, he rebounds, he runs the floor, and he gets the tough baskets. He takes a lot of pressure off the other basketball players on their team.
Big-time numbers for Gordon as the GHP Valley Player of the Week. 26 against Indiana State, 3 double-doubles in his last 4 games. And a reminder, GHP gives you all you need for family or individual health insurance. Choose a great health plan. Go to GHP.com. And for Wichita State, Spoon, they got a great group of seniors. One of those, Randy Burns.
Well, Randy Burns is having the kind of year you want a senior to have. He can score in so many ways. He can drive the ball. He can shoot threes. He gets the fouls. He gets to the free throw line. He shoots 75%, and he's turned into a great leader.
217 career threes, one of the best ever in the Valley. The all-time leader at Wichita State. But he has company at the three-point line. Trey Guidry of Illinois State has the right first name. He can light it up from bonus distance. The transfer from NC State, doing it big this year. And for Wichita State, it's the Tasmanian Devils, Jamar Howard. Wichita State and Illinois State tonight on our Game House now. They have fixed it up. It's Koch Arena, and it is rocking. Illinois State and Wichita State in front of another sellout in Wichita. Porter Moser, in his second year at Illinois State, he's a candidate for Coach of the Year, taking the team from dead last a year ago, right now just outside of the top of the conference. Let's take a look at our lineups. A presentation of Bud Light. Illinois State, listen, Guidry can shoot it from Saturn. Alexander can shoot it from Mars. Gordon and Dilligard mix it up inside, and Green drives the bus. For Wichita State, it's a great blend of talent both inside and outside, experience, and newcomers. These seniors have built this program under Mark Turgeon in his 5th year as the head coach at Wichita State. Turgeon has increased the win total at WSU from 9 to 15 to 18 to 21, already at 15 on the 29th of January. Let's check in now with Charlie Spoonhour's Chrysler Keys to the Game, a presentation of Chrysler, where inspiration becomes standard.
When you're Illinois State and you're on the road, you've got to handle the ball and play against the good defense that Wichita is going to throw at you. Then you've got to board hard, and you've got to find Guidry and get him some shots. You need open looks for Trey Guidry. For Wichita, feed the crowd. This crowd is really something. This is neat to be here, Mitch. And then find Guidry and defend him. Maybe the crowd can wave enough towels to bother him when he's shooting.
Everybody's trying to find Guidry. Let's take a look at our series history, brought to you by Sirius Satellite Radio. With over 120 channels of commercial-free music, news, talk, and sports. With a car, home, or anywhere you go, get Sirius today and ride the big dog. The Shockers have won the last 5 meetings, including 3 here in Wichita. The next meeting in Illinois State, Redbird Arena starting to fill up again as the Redbird fans understanding the job that Porter Moser has done with the proud Illinois State program. Now, we are at the turn. We have played the front 9. We're getting ready for the back 9. Look at this. All the first place teams in the Valley at the turn. An 18-game schedule. After 9 games, if you're in first place the last 5 years in the Valley, you go to the big show, Spoon. Wichita State is sitting at 8-1 after the front 9, getting ready to play the back 9.
Well, Wichita State's done a great job. Mitch, they've won not just their home games, which is imperative that you do, but they've gone on the road and beat people. They're 7-1 in all games on the road.
The last 5 years, you lead the Valley at the turn. You make the NCAA tournament. But Mark Turgeon knows he's got a lot of work left to do.
Is that written anywhere? Can we hold him onto that?
I don't think we can. Told that to Turgeon today, just scowled at me.
Well, this will be good for me now. If we can get through the opening jump without the scoreboard coming down or a referee getting knocked out, I'm having to start on a great evening.
Jamar Howard coming off an incredible game, 27 points and 13 rebounds against Craig. And this kid, Trey Guidry, how about his game at Craig? Illinois State victory, 30 points, Spoon.
Well, you shave your head and good things happen to you, because I'm sure Dana Altman would be happy to get him a wig for the next game.
Porter Mosier said, hey, shave your head. He went through a shooting slump. And Coach Mosier said, shave your head, it might help. He said 30 and 25 since he shaved his head. He shaved it since shoot-around this morning. You notice that?
He did, and he looks very nice tonight.
First possession is Illinois State's. Game on in the Valley. Good help by Liberty. Illinois State keeps it, still 18 to shoot.
It's going to be an extended possession, and that won't bother Illinois State if they run some clock.
Howard all over Guidry, 8 to shoot. Gordon launches from 3. He hasn't shot one all year. Prior to that one.
You're going to see Wichita pushing it down, and that's exactly where they want the ball, right there.
Howard with the up and under. He'll get free throws.
Free throws has not been a strong suit this year for Howard, but the point is he's already got one on Dilligard, and we are not even 1 minute into the ball game.
And if you do have questions on Illinois State, it would be post-depth. You see Howard. How about this game against Greg, Spoon?
I'd like to have one like that.
Howard at the line just 61%, but as a team, Wichita State is very good. In fact, they're at 73.3 last year. They set a school record with 74% at the line.
Mitch Howard shot him well the couple years previous.
And the way he plays, he's going to get plenty of attempts. Illinois State trying to hustle it up the floor. This will be off Canton, and the Redbirds keep it.
It's good defense. Good job of getting back by Wichita State, and a good job of pushing the ball by Guidry.
Wichita State makes it tough on the inbounds, and the Birds reset.
Howard's big enough and quick enough that he can bother Guidry, plus he's getting so much help anytime there's a ball screen.
Gordon, this time against Miller. And he gets fouled underneath by Paul Miller.
I think Gordon likes that area of the floor a little better than the deep corner. I think that's he's had a little more success there. Excuse me, Mitch. He was a really good high school player at Vashon High School. They won 3 state championships with him there. He's been successful and been a winner everywhere he's been.
You see his scoring average. He is tied for the Valley League with Ben Jacobson of Northern Iowa. But it gets even better if you look at the last 2-3 weeks. He's averaging 22 points over the last 6 games.
And there's his free throw. That's the thing you have to do if you're going to win on the road. You're going to have to hit free throws, limit turnovers, all the things that everybody knows.
There's your score. Somerville not far behind, the great player at Bradley. Gordon gets them both, and Illinois State has the lead. Now, what does Illinois State do half court defensively? They had Miller on a high-low. Burns with a point blanket.
Well, if he gets open shots, I realize there was a little bump in the road there, and the ball was knocked loose, but if he gets open shots like that, he's going to score a ton.
They switch off on Guidry, but they don't get there in time, and yet it spins out of there.
That was Burns' rebound. That's the thing that makes him a good player. He does more. He just set a great screen right there. He does more than just shoot the ball.
Burns averages 4 boards per game. Now Guidry works on Campman to get the layup.
Campman again sprints back. He's done a good job of getting back twice, but that was just a nice move by Guidry.
Played 2 minutes. Illinois State battling here. Wichita State, their 4th game in 8 days. Burns for 3.
Guidry tried to go under the screen. Burns just shot it over. They're going to have to either go over the screen or they're going to have to show more help, I think.
Burns is 2nd in the Valley in 3-point makes per game. He shoots 40% from 3. That's his 218th of his career. Dilligard loses it.
High-low action is something we're going to see a lot of tonight by the Redbirds.
Gordon, sweet move in the lane.
12 feet and in, he's going to be a very, very good player. And the thing that will happen, Mitch, if he misses those shots, he's very active. He'll go back after the ball.
6-5 Illinois State. We played 3. Howard tough inside when he gets ISO'd low. Dilligard does a good job on it.
Dillagard was very, very smart then and did not reach in or didn't swat down at the ball. He kept his hands straight up.
Illinois State is so much better defensively. It's hard to really state how improved they are defensively. Last couple years, they really suffered, but Porter Mosier, who was a hard-nosed player at Creighton, has brought that mentality to Illinois State's program.
Well, and he's got his staff. He's got a very good staff, and it's something that they've tried to sell and put some pride in.
The 5th youngest staff in all of Division I. But you can see their gradual improvement defensively.
The Wichita State's got a nice defensive basketball team also.
Guidry deep and nails it.
Guidry's hit a hard shot there. Howard did a good job on 2 cuts and then just got caught in a flutter and couldn't get to Guidry.
Guidry had 5 makes here a year ago from 3 at 23 points. It took 21 shots to do it. Howard can't handle it. This is off camp. Illinois State with a good start defensively.
That was a nice move. That was good quickness by Burns, and he got the ball into the hands of Howard, who couldn't handle it, and then the ball just got knocked out of bounds.
Four-point lead for Illinois State with a 1-4 high look.
Illinois State's trying to find the high-low action, and there's just so much flutter in there defensively.
Gord, little triple jump inside.
Yes,
and gets the medal.
And you saw that he's the guy that goes back after the ball. That's the thing. He doesn't just concede it.
Gets 2 points for his team and the indoor track team.
Pretty smart idea then by Illinois State to double down.
Great rotation. Burns barely misses.
Miller had such a good ball game at Northern Iowa. You have to go guard him when he's 15 feet away.
Alexander can hit these shots too, although he rushed that one. That's the thing about Wichita State. Different guys on different nights have stepped up all year. Last year they almost became a little bit reliant on Howard and Burns too much. That's not the case this year. They've got a tremendous bench. They're getting ready to go to it.
Ooh. That was close to being foul number 2.
They gave Guidry a look, but a nice recovery by Howard. Dillagard with the bank. Timeout, Wichita State. Illinois State with a great start here to lead 13-5, 5.5 deep into the game.
You play your first 5 minutes, and you're trying to stay in the ball game. Make sure that that no one runs away from you. Very nice job by Illinois State. For many teams comes in and just tries to maintain. These guys come in. I'm talking about Cousinard and Aguirre. These guys come in and score, and I believe they've got 4 new players on the floor. The only one that's still out there is Howard, I think.
So Porter Mosier, great start here, but he sees the hockey line change, which has become Wichita State's trademark. WSU is 0 for 4 from the field with 2 turnovers in this Illinois State 9-0 run.
Change of defense right here with his new people showing a zone. They just extended down the floor to make some time be used by Wichita State. Now they're going to just zone it off and match.
4 guys sub in for Wichita State. Howard the only starter to stay on the floor. Howard right after Dillagard. Kyle Wilson's been tough for this team. The Illinois transfer with his first bucket.
Kyle Wilson's got a lot of bounce. He was really active on the rebound there.
Big shots. He hit a big 3 at SMS. First points for the Shockers in the paint.
Being able to sub like this is good for Wichita.
Guidry, that one slides off the iron.
Because they're going to be able to keep some fresh people defensively, and that's important.
They back off Howard, daring him to shoot. Wilson. A foul on Illinois State. We're going to step aside here, but Illinois State leads by 6 on the road in net. Illinois State 50% from the field. Illinois State holding Wichita State to 3 of 7 from the field.
Wichita State's turned the ball over some too, and that's something that Illinois State's avoided. No turnovers for them.
Speaking of which, Wilson trying to get a reverse, throws it to the media.
who I promise you cannot do one thing with it.
Turgeon would second that comment. Right now, his team, slow start. This happened against Drake, too, on Wednesday night, though. They found themselves a little murky in the first 20 in that one.
The thing that their defense does for them, it keeps them in ball games. It's hard to get away from Wichita State because they defend so well.
Onukiu with it, and he traveled. Good defense by O'Geary. Onedu Onukiu.
O'Geary does not play, nor does Cousinard, like a freshman. Particularly offensively, they're unafraid to shoot the ball, but they get up and guard too, and that's impressive.
Cousinard shut down Darren Brooks here a week ago in that showdown game with Southern Illinois. Miller, hard post. Robbed by the rim on the jump hook.
He made one of those against Northern Iowa from further out than that. That's a good-looking shot.
Vince Green has played better of late, and that's a 3 for Vince Green, his 21st of the year.
Green lulls everyone to sleep. He's so content to pass the ball and drive the car, as you put it, and then all of a sudden he just races up and shoots for it.
Breyer, another one of these Wichita State freshmen, follows his shot.
That's a rebound you hate to give up. That's the smallest guy on the court getting it, and it's an offensive board to boot.
Miller wants it inside. The big men battle. This time he went with the offhand. This is a held ball that will go to Wichita State. An alert play by Sean O'Geary.
Miller's got good position 2 times and just hasn't come up with any points yet. He seems more comfortable facing up at 12 to 15 feet than he does with his back to the basket.
Aeropostale, A-E-R-O-P-O-S-T-A-L-E, proud to sponsor the Valley. They'll provide this season's hottest styles, hottest athletically inspired clothes for guys and girls. Go to the website. 16-7 Illinois State, making it tough on Wichita State. Miller again trying it inside. Now Wichita State's going in there. How many is that for Miller? They were trying to do it with Howard.
That's at least 3. That's at least 3 times that Miller's had the ball in there.
The under-8 timeout, the under-12 timeout, I should say. 11:59 left in Illinois State. Surprisingly up by 9. Our athlete is Rob Campman of Wichita State, a senior from Forest City, Iowa, a member of the Valley's most improved team in 04. He's a 3-4 in sports administration. Academics are important to the Valley. Let's salute Rob Campman of the Shockers, tonight's Prairie Farms Missouri Valley Conference Scholar athlete. What is Illinois State? How much are they switching defensively, and what are they doing to hold Wichita State down?
The main thing they've done is they showed the one change of defense where they ran the 1-2-2 3-quarter court and backed into a 1-3-1. But the main thing they're doing, they're double teaming people when they catch it inside. They've done it to Miller and to Howard, and they're just making it tough for shots around the basket. Wichita State's 0 for 6 inside, Nick.
People ask me all the time, has Illinois State improved? Yes, because they're guarding. Wichita State trying to get it going. Possession to Campman, and he calls timeout.
Campman hustles hard. He plays hard. I enjoy watching him.
You better hustle when you play on this team, or you'll be sitting down by the train. 16-7 Illinois State. Here, win an overtime win at Creighton. They also won at Loyola and Indiana State. You mentioned that Wichita State needs to feed this crowd. They have yet to do that. Wilson on the ISO block. As Carlwell got the block, and out of bounds is Wichita State.
That's one of those passes and plays that you, with time to reflect, maybe you're better off just shoot the thing.
You're that close. Might as well try it.
Might as well try. Now it's going to become a little bit more interesting for Illinois State against the defense, because Plank is going to, who is honestly what Mitch, a 3 or a 4 player normally, is going to have to run the point for the Redbirds.
7-0. There's your difference. Points off turnovers. And there's a turnover. Now let's see if Wichita State can score. Set play by Porter Moser, and it gets turned around to Wichita State.
Both teams help. Anytime there's a ball screen, they exaggerate their help, as they should. But then that frees the center up unless someone rotates and covers him. The center's going to be open.
Wichita State in this building famous for spurts.
Beautiful right there. Slip the screen.
And a foul on Wilson. It was fouling Dilligard as he had the rebound.
And Howard does a great job. Comes as though he's going to set a screen, slips the screen, is 2 feet away, gets bumped a little, but just doesn't finish the play.
Now, Mark Turgeon isn't into excuses, but this is the 4th game in a week for this team.
Well, I know these guys are young, but it does wear on you.
See if Wichita State gets after Plank at the point, trying to get Vince Green a rest.
Getting after Dilligard might not be a bad idea either, because he's not an accomplished passer.
Guidry with the pull-up. That's inside the 3-point line.
That's the thing about Guidry. He's got a good feel for the game. He can shoot the basketball.
His 30th Creighton, the best performance in the Valley this year. 11-point lead for Illinois State, and now a walk by Couisnard.
Again, you see we're using the pick and roll set. Double team on the ball, and Couisnard just let his feet get moving and just didn't stop.
10:21 left in the half. 11-point lead for Illinois State. Only 7 points here in the first half of the first half.
And Green is back. That looked like one of my auditions at playing. That was pretty quick jerk there. But he got a blow for Green.
And of course, Khalif Ford is hurt, so that takes their point guard depth away.
And he was playing very, very well.
Underneath, Gordon with all kinds of company. A little lazy on the outlet. Couisnard is saved by O'Geary. Wichita State not getting anything created by its defense to get their transition game going. O'Geary, sweet move.
Oh, man. That's a nice move. Floats in the middle and gets the basket.
A very good-looking freshman from Denver, Colorado, Sean O'Geary. The rest of the league has noticed him. A walk. Traveling violation. Good spot for Howard. Let's take a look at the Valley Standing Spoon, brought to you by Edward Jones. More than 130 years of experience helping individuals build financial security. Edward Jones.
Well, no one's really out of this thing. You'd guess with 7 losses you're in pretty bad shape, but you never know what's going to happen. Wichita State's got a little bit of separation if they can win a game like this one tonight.
We are at Koch Arena in Wichita, Kansas. Mitch Holtis along with Charlie Spoonhour. Thanks for being with us tonight. Illinois State, a much improved team. Last place a year ago. You saw where they are in the standings this year. Howard trying to grind inside, and this is off Miller. Wichita State's going inside. They're just not able to get any finishes in there.
They've made up their mind that they're going in there, and I think it's the right thing to do. I think it is exactly the right thing to do. And they've had, on numerous occasions, they've nearly rebounded the ball, but that's just like the ball bouncing off Miller.
9 to go in the first 20. Illinois State with a 9-point advantage. Alexander for 3.
He's good at that, man. He can shoot the basketball from there.
He's only got 198 in his career. You throw that in Guidry, and he's got 189. We got Burns with Wichita State at 220. It's a lot of threes, and those are makes, not attempts.
Both teams are playing so hard. That time Miller, with a double team coming, shot the ball and had a decent look. It's just things are just a little out of sync right now for Wichita State.
And don't we have to credit Illinois State defensively?
I don't think there's any question. I'm glad I didn't vote them last.
You're like a third-party candidate winning the election right now. Burns, sweet look from 3.
Can't let him have those. That's just a little bit of a defensive lapse there because he's going to make that shot.
Shockers have 12. Burns has 8 of them. 8 to go in the first 20. 9-point lead for Illinois State. Gordon, Dilligard finishes.
That's 2 good finishes by Dilligard, and that was a very good interior pass by Gordon.
Well, they're just giving Howard the 15-footer.
He is not going to shoot that, I guess.
Couisnard trying to create. Dilligard's all over the place.
Dilligard's a big man in there. They go from that high-low look to a little bit of a pick and roll and come back, and here's the pick and roll again.
Guidry loses Couisnard. And the rebound to Miller. Burns sets up Couisnard, and the freshman is in the book.
That was brought about by the good penetration and having an idea where to go with the basketball. Burns just didn't go in with the idea of shooting it. He went in looking for other people.
And the monster, which is the Wichita State crowd, wanting to be fed. They are down 8 points at the 6:48 mark of the first half. Gordon, and tough against Paul Miller.
Gordon just almost begs you to come double team him, because when he can put the ball on the floor and duck his shoulder, he's pretty good.
And yet Spoonie's a pretty good passer. If you double him, he might find an open guy.
He probably will.
Miller has struggled inside tonight. He gets the bump and count this. Gordon fouls and Miller gets the score.
Burns with his assist. There's 2 assists in a row from Burns. There's the pass out for the 3.
Wichita State trying to get on a roll. They still trail by 8 at home. Tucker bench has contributed 7 points. Miller's got a chance for a 3-point play. 2 fouls now on Lorenzo Gordon.
Fouls could be a huge issue as this game goes along, because not much depth on the Illinois State bench, particularly inside.
Miller much improved. He came in as a big baseball pitcher from Jeff City, Missouri. He's turned into a decent post player. 16 points, 11 rebounds at Tulsa earlier this year.
Burns picked the defense up a little. Looks like the defense is going to get a little bit more active.
Flank, another good high-low, and Dilligard's fouled.
Not a bad idea right there. We were talking about Dilligard off air, Mitch, 32%.
Porter Moser's team is last in the Valley at 65% free throw shooting. Dilligard brings that down at 32%. See if this gets close. Almost went in.
That's one probably makes you feel a little better.
Or worse, he thinks it's that close to going in.
If they'd let him tip dunk that, he'd have got it.
And an offensive board that's just kicked out, going to Wichita State.
And that drives people crazy. Guy misses free throws, and then the man in the second row gets a rebound. Here's the zone again, the extended zone. All this is to buy time or to make Wichita State use time.
And Plank is now playing the 4 position with Dilligard at the 5. You see Plank at the lower left of your screen. He'll play the point. He'll play the big forward. The Wisconsin transfer.
Now they're not going to guard Howard out anyways towards the head of the circle.
Shot not there, and Guidry chases it down. Dilligard right after Miller again. Howard's right there in the face of Guidry. Now a steal.
Nice job reacting by Howard.
Been one of the better defenders in this league the last several years. Burns, another clean look. Miller tip. He will get no. It's going to be an foul on Miller over the back.
Good effort by Miller. He goes after the ball. That's one of those fouls that you'll take. You see him flying in here. That's a tough call right there. Got 2 guys going for the ball, and Miller just happens to be a little bigger.
Not sure Mark Turgeon liked that too much. 25-18 Illinois State at the 5:12 mark of the first half. Last year Illinois State was 4-14 in this league. Already 6 league wins. Plank for 3. Plank with the clank. And bad turnover by Burns. Has Wichita State had a transition basket yet?
Not that I recall. No, Wichita gets back. Illinois State does a nice job of getting back too.
Frank just shot that, turns it down. Alexander, it's a better option for him.
You're right. That's exactly what that was. That's somebody recognizing we may get something better. It's early in the possession. Let's see what we can find.
6 for Alexander on 2 threes. He shoots 48% from 3. Only Ben Jacobson in this league is better. Wilson underneath. Dilligard pins it against the glass, and this is out for Wichita State. 10-point lead for Dunk. and a +1 opportunity.
Screen came. Howard did a good job of using the screen, but that's the thing on an out-of-bounds play. You'll see the screen action coming right here. Here comes wide open comes Howard, and that's hard to miss that one. And he needed that. He was shot 6 times, I think, without getting a basket.
That's his first bucket. Mark Turgeon does a good job on inbounds plays, and it's something we both watch very closely. If you can score on inbounds plays, the only time the game stops and you can huddle up.
That's the whole thing about it is if you can find a way to score off those, you steal points. That's part of the mastery, Mitch. You're actually stealing points.
A 3-point play for Howard. Will that get this crowd going and get this team going? Illinois State's been outstanding, up by 7. A tip by Plank.
That's unexpected. Plank has been playing. See, he's played the 1, and now he's playing the 4.
Burns stepped out. Another turnover for Wichita State. Jamar Howard trying to light up this team, but Wichita State down by 9 here in the first half. Jamar Howard's 3-point play. Thought Wichita State was going to get cranked up, and then Neil Plank with the tip in. Illinois State has an 8-point lead on the ball.
Illinois State's had a couple of little minor answers, just like the one by Plank, that have really made the game different.
Nice back cut on the high 1-4 high look, and Guidry's going to get free throws.
Nice play. Nice, well-executed play coming out of the timeout.
Set 8. It's a 9-point lead for Porter Mosier's team.
Here's the back door. Here's the back door play right here. Good reaction by Wilson right there.
Non-shooting foul on Wichita State. Guidry wants Kuznard. Dilligard has had a great first half.
That's just going after the basketball, particularly with the other big man out. He's taking it upon himself to do some things.
11-point lead for Illinois State on the road. Everything hard right now for Wichita State. Burns turns down a 3. Kuznard just hit from that spot. Got it on the roll.
That is what's known as friendly and favorable right there.
He only had 7 threes coming into the game. He's got 2 in the first half. 2:52 to play in the first 20. 8-point lead for the road team.
For Wichita State right now, you really need a couple of stops and a couple of baskets.
Some easy baskets created off defense. Dilligard's going to load.
That one was not quite as on balance and quite as measured as the others.
Good ball rotation. Wichita State still 22 to shoot. Wilson for 3. Tasmanian Devil will get free throws.
The rebound and then drawing the foul, and that's going to be 2 on Dilligard.
Gordon has 2, and he's been setting down the last several minutes. Five team fouls on the Redbirds.
Here's where free throws become so important. It affects you so much mentally. You get a chance to get back and get closer and cut this thing down under 5.
That was clean. That was nothing but net. So Dilligard and Gordon both set down now. And Carlwell will come in along with Plank. That's your big people for Illinois State. Howard got them both. 5 points for Howard in the last 2:17.
And here comes the crowd, Mitch.
Illinois State has had answers throughout the entire first half. Green couldn't get the roll over Wilson.
Now if you're Wichita State, you need to get a good shot.
Burns, nice fake. Nice pull-up. He's got 10.
And that'll be timeout time.
And this crowd, over 10,000. 7 sellouts this year. Finally getting a chance to raise a ruckus. Their team within 4 after trailing double digits with 95 seconds in the first half.
Right now, you've got a great time to get stops. Here's Burns, though. Here's his move. Pulls up and shoots. He has done some really exceptionally nice things. He just stops right on a dime and shoots it. Now, if you're Wichita State, with Illinois State's 2 big guys sitting on the bench, now's the time to make some hay and maybe get this thing even closer.
Yeah, I don't think this is any coincidence that after both Gordon and Dilligard picked up 2 fouls at Wichita State, able to get something moving here. And the Redbirds, chance for a 2-for-1 here to end the half. Guidry. Howard got there late, but just enough. Carlwell strip. A foul on the Shockers. So no Geary. Four team fouls on Wichita State. O'Geary's first foul. Carlwell, 5 of 9 at the line. Illinois State has been getting to the line 6 times more per game on the average than their opponents. That's the good news. The bad news is they're last in the Valley in shooting at 65%. They got to get the right people to the line. Oh for 4 in this half. Should say 2 for 6 in this half. Illinois State at the line. Howard, little inside out to Kuznard. Back to the Tasmanian double. Kuznard not there for 3. Carlwell with a big body board for Illinois State. Illinois State up 4. This is a big possession. A 3 by Green, and he nails it. The senior, the veteran, his second 3 ball of the game. Huge to put Illinois State back up by a 7-point total. And Wichita State will play for the last shot of the half. 2 threes for Green, 2 for Alexander, 1 for Guidry. Four seconds to shoot. Wilson with the pull-up, not there. Good defense by Illinois State. That's been the story of this first half. Illinois State with a great defensive effort to lead Wichita State 35-28 at halftime. As the Redbirds, with a 7-point advantage, they had a big win at Creighton. And now with a 7-point lead here at halftime. Let's check in with the Mercy Health Plans for the second half. Here's Spoon with Mark Turgeon.
Coach, you got the ball inside. You got it where you wanted it. You did a good job on Guidry. Any big changes you have to make at halftime?
We just got to play better. We got to make those easy shots that we're missing. We just got to play better. We got to get loose balls. They're getting every one. I thought Illinois State was great, and we just got to believe we can do this.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Mercy Health Plans, an innovative health management company empowering cases Illinois State's victory over Tennessee in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Led by Rico Hill, Leroy Watkins, and Steve Hansel, the Redbirds tied the game at 72 at the end of regulation. And Dan Muller stepped up to hit a big shot, giving Illinois State a 1-point lead to beat the Volunteers in overtime in the Big Dance in '98. Tonight's O'Reilly Auto Parts Millennium Moments. The X, Xavier McDaniel of Wichita State. McDaniel earned back-to-back Player of the Year honors in 1984 and '85. Twice the nation's leading rebounder, he became the first player in NCAA history to lead the country in scoring and rebounding in the same season in '84-'85. A member of the Valley Athletics Hall of Fame. The X, Wichita State, Xavier McDaniel. Tonight's Aeropostale, Missouri Valley Conference legend. Valley leader. Now here's your stat. Illinois State this year, when leading at the half, they are 10-4. Oh, Wichita State has got to get busy. They're working uphill here at home. They've had only one loss in the Valley all season long. And for the second half, here's Charlie Spooner.
Thanks, Mitch. That was a very good first half of basketball, and you answered every one of their runs at you.
That's going to be key, Coach. After the second half, is this crowd is so good. We have to keep having poise and answer the run with execution. I thought we did that in the first half.
A legion of men and women making sure the nightlights of the neighborhood flicker to life when called upon. Visit Ameren.com to learn more. Spoon, the one that gets you points off turnovers. 15 to Bagel in favor of Illinois State.
Well, obviously that's a huge issue. Field goal percentage is an issue. Wichita State, though, Mitch, has had the ball in the paint area 17 times. 17 times, and have only rung up two baskets out of that.
Illinois State again when leading at half. Perfecto. Mark Turgeon does not want to see that stat. The Redbirds 10-0 when leading at half this season. They already have 14 wins. They're 14-5, Illinois State is. Last year they were 10-19 the entire season. And we got coaches in this league doing a great job. There's such good coaching in this league. And we're not being myopic when we say that. But the job that Porter Mosier has done at Illinois State to transform them into a team that wants to play defense.
Well, both these guys have taken over programs and done just a super job of moving them up. You look at Turge right there, the things that he's done, he's bounced. His record has improved each year, and that's pretty difficult to do when you start winning 18 and 20 games.
The last team to reach the NCAA tournament, you see at the bottom of the screen, Wichita State's 87-88 team with Eddie Fogler lost to DePaul in South Bend that year. The last time, however, the Shockers won the Missouri Valley Conference regular season, 1983. And that year, the Shockers could not go to the big dance. They were on probation. It's been a long time coming, but the Shockers don't want to hear any of that right now. They are facing an Illinois State team that has hit them right in the nose in the first half.
Well, you're into the first 5 minutes of the second half, and it's always huge to see how people react after the halftime.
Gordon with a pretty good look, and the half hook not there. Howard will take the shot by Getty.
Uh-oh. That's the thing that you don't expect, and Howard steps up and shoots and gets a basket, and that gets this crowd back.
He didn't miss a shot against Drake on Wednesday night. Now he hits that one, you got to put the game plan in the paper shredder.
The people have been playing off him in the games I've seen. The last 2 or 3 games, they've backed off and given him 15-foot shots.
They gave him a 3 on that?
They did, yes.
That's his first three-point make of the season. Alexander's short on that 3. The offensive board for Illinois State, and Guidry short on that one. So Jamar Howard with a 3. Late signal there. That's his first three-point make of the year for Jamar Howard.
Well, if you're Wichita State, he couldn't have picked a better time. Now we'll see what they're going to do with their first true possession of the second half. That's just like playing horse right there.
Nice back cut. Burns underneath. Campman with a big tip in.
Campman has been quiet on the offensive end. That's a big play right now. And if you're Illinois State, you need to take your time and get a good look.
Instead, Guidry shoots it quick.
It was quick, but
what are you saying, Coach?
with him, that's still a pretty good look.
4-point lead, Illinois State. Some muscling inside. It's Gordon, and that's his 3rd. Wrestling inside with Paul Miller.
Those are areas that have been a concern of officials and coaches for the last 10 years, and they're really difficult to find. You'll see right here, Miller just spins, and there's the hook move. He's got him with his left arm. You've got to turn loose and get away from him.
So Gordon will set down with 3 personals. He has 8 points. Wichita State down 4. Burns steps inside the line and drains it.
That's an answer to Guidry right there, because Guidry's shot was a good shot. That was perfect for Burns.
Howard's 3 got this thing going. Wichita State down 2. Good bump by Howard. Howard was bumping Guidry, trying to come over the top on the pick, Charlie, and it caused Illinois State to throw it out.
And we've got a small disagreement. Porter Mosier kind of thinks that maybe his man was fouled. And I don't think he's going to win this little discussion.
So Illinois State's 7-point halftime lead and double-digit first half lead is dissipating. Burns. Liberty. 10 to shoot. Burns is hot.
Gotta like Burns. He is so under control, Mitch. He's dribbling the basketball and just watching the game unfold. He's really playing well.
Timeout. Wichita State has tied the game. Randy Burns with 14 points, 4 already in the second half. Wichita State wasted little time to get this one tied back up.
9-2 run will usually bring you back in most games.
People want to know how tough it is to play on the road in college basketball. Just feel what Illinois State's feeling right now.
Good possession here, though. They've extended it.
Guidry, what a tough shot. Over the top of Howard, who fought off the screen.
I didn't think the shot was exactly what Porter-Moser wanted. The result was great.
41 threes this year now. 190 in his career for Trey Guidry, who started at NC State. And a lazy pass, a lazy catch maybe by Howard.
Defense changed. They went from the man to a zone, and then Wichita State stood around and they had a man open under the basket.
Illinois State keeps answering. Dilligard finds Alexander. To shoot. Guidry still a long way from the basket, but that doesn't matter. Sometimes it does, this time with an air ball. Burns, a transition three. That's off the mark. Campman has given some hustle to this team. It's going to be stuck. It's going to be an arrow, and it goes to Wichita State.
Campman, good hustle here.
How about the shot by Guidry when he hit the three?
Look how deep he is, and there's defense on him. Mitch, that's the thing. That's not one that they just gave him because he was 30 feet away. They were still being guarded.
Well, Campman showed, forced him out a little further, and then allowed Howard to get he shot it over the top of Howard.
I don't know if you could make those all day long, but he certainly made one good one.
Liberty's called for an offensive foul here. Adam Liberty with the foul. 3-point lead for Illinois State. They have come to play tonight. Illinois State leads by 3 into the second half. Time now for our Date in History, brought to you by Renaissance Grand Hotel St. Louis. Dave the Rave Stallworth, one of the greatest ever to play in the Valley. He scored 45 points for the Chalkers against Loyola. The Chalkers then ranked 5th in the country, fell 93-92 in Chicago to the Ramblers, who were very good back then. The Renaissance Grand Hotel, St. Louis, the official St. Louis hotel of the Missouri Valley Conference. Dave the Rave could ball in the day.
I do remember him making shots.
Guidry, who's made many shots.
He's doing it with a lot of people chasing him too, Mitch. He is a target and he's still scoring.
What's impressive, you know, he's a well-conditioned lad because he's running around a lot. 6 to shoot. Guidry with the one-arm runner. One-hander up there. Offensive rebound. And a stick back for Ronnie Carwell. Now, speaking of bonus points, Carwell only gets 1 a game on the average.
That is called rebounding out of your area because he did go after the ball and he's a little fortunate to get the ball back in the goal.
Kuznard answers for Wichita State.
That's the same man that was open a moment ago when the ball was entered high and there's a man standing down to the basket against the zone.
And a rebound underneath it. Burns for 3 in the corner.
4 people touched the ball coming up the floor, with Burns being the 4th. Great job of finding the open man in transition.
I told you Kuznard scored earlier. He was the man from the assist. Howard had the bucket. And now Burns gets a 3. And it's tied again at 42. Illinois State has had plenty of answers. Now they rush 2 at Guidry.
And Guidry gets fouled. He was a little out of control that time, Mitch, but it's hard not to be because, just as you said, he's been guarded by everyone on the floor.
Howard picks up the foul, just his first. Doing a much better job this year of avoiding foul trouble. 2 team fouls on Wichita State.
And Wichita State finds themselves back in the same position they were in a moment ago. Now they've rallied back and caught up. But you cannot afford to relax once you do that. You've got to keep going. You've got to have a different goal than just catching up.
Howard with 10 points. He had the bucket on the feed from Kuznard earlier. Now Gordon is back in for Illinois State, playing with 3 fouls. Alexander, great look on the weak side feed. He's got 9 all on 3s.
That came as a result of a hustle play on a loose ball. That's where that came from.
O'Nuku's showing some hustle. I'm impressed with Illinois State's not only their defense, but the mettle they're showing here. They're showing some guts.
They are doing that. They've stayed in this ball game. There's been times where you could throw up your hands, and they certainly have not done that. Now they need to come back and find a good look again.
4th tie of the game, all tied up on 3s as well. 45-45 with 13-15 left in the game. O'Geary, 31 3-point makes this year as a freshman for Wichita State.
And they're running flank at the point, which is not his natural position, and it's harder to get into the offense, particularly with Guidry out of the game.
And then Plank goes to the basket and gets fouled.
And that's one of the times that if you're a Wichita State fan, you would hope that somebody would get in front of him because, again, they've got Plank moving a little faster than he would choose to.
Now look at this. This is the O-zone here. Randy Burns, 223s. Alexander's already got 200. 190 for Guidry. There has never been a Valley game with 3 career 200 3-point players in the same game. We will have one on February 10th. Shoot the way Guidry's going, we might have it tonight. Near steal by Breyer, saved by Dilligard.
Near steals have occurred a lot for Wichita State, and they just have not been able to come up with the ball.
Plank, the pull-up, not there. Rebound, Wilson for Wichita State. O'Geary for 3. Little rush.
Hard, Mitch, when you play defense for 20 and 25 seconds, then you come down and shoot it quickly. If you don't make the basket, now you're back on defense again.
Dilligard has been bouncy. Leaves that one thin, stays right after it. They're going to wave it off. He gets fouled before the shot attempt.
This is Dilligard being very, very active here. But he's using his right hand, and he's strong, and he goes after the ball again. That play is not beyond the realm of his capability.
Guidry in. As Mark Turgeon's team tied here at 45 after being down double digits in the first 20. O'Nuku sets down, giving a decent couple of minutes to Porter Moser's team.
Guidry's had another long rest of about 30 seconds, as has Green. They recoup quickly.
Dilligard, tough shot. Campman fouled it. Second foul on Campman. Dilligard has been a load tonight for Wichita State all night long. You can see what Mark Turgeon thinks of it. Non-plus call of the game, and it's Burn Baby Burns, or Burns Baby Burns.
Just under control. Uses a screen. No hurry. Everybody needs to find him, just like they need to find Guidry.
Marshall Wireless, your communications consultant. Now Bradley carries Singular Wireless. Burns getting a rest now, but with 17, his career high is 29 as a sophomore against Western Illinois. He was great at Providence this year. Shockers beat the Friars at Providence. He had 24 in that game. Dilligard just slides that one in there like he's Blake Ahern of SMS, who led the nation last year.
That's a bonus point right there.
That one was off the mark. And an offensive board off a missed free throw.
That's at least 2. Now Guidry gets an open look. 2 open maybe.
O'Geary with the board. Breyer, the second squadron, trying to give Wichita State the lead.
Trying to find Miller down low, I think, but he just has not had a very good night offensively.
Nor is Wilson. He's only got 2, but he's going to the line.
And he's going to draw a foul on Dilligard.
That is numero 3 on Dilligard. So Dilligard and Gordon both have 3. Kyle Wilson's going to get a couple free throws here. Something he likes. He's 81% at the line. What a find here for Mark Turgeon. Played at Illinois. Transferred out of that program. He's from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Ties it with that one.
Well, the rotation that Porter Moser's getting away with is a 3-man rotation with the foul problems and the conditioning just for being out on this floor in a hard game like this.
It's there. It is the first Shocker lead of the game, Spoon, since the 17:51 mark of the first half, when the Shockers led 5-4. It is a 1-point lead. There you go. A long time since Wichita State has had the lead they have now. A 1-point advantage at 11:17 left in the game.
Cousinard has got the Guidry job now. Oh my, that's nice.
Gordon honked the horn and went right around the defense.
Miller just was never part of that play. Of course, we've got a well-rested Gordon because he's been sitting and watching a lot.
Miller singled against Gordon, who's got foul trouble. They answered buckets.
Smart play right there by Wichita. They went right at Gordon, hopeful that he won't foul, and he didn't. And Miller did a good job of completing the play.
10:34 remaining in the game. 1-point lead for the Shockers.
It's just a hard game to defend, and there's so much screening and moving. If you're going to be out there, you're going to get bumped somewhere.
Gordon again with that slinky move. This one short. Miller with the board. Breyer pushes it up. O'Geary in the second squadron's drawn a foul. O'Geary hard to the hoop.
Good move then to get them to draw the foul. Here's your play right here. Here's the ball going inside. Miller standing. Maybe a tiny hook right there. Not a big one, but just so quick around. And here's the answer right here. Got Gordon afraid to foul, so he can't contest the shot.
That's the old you score, I score. Trey Guidry was fouling. That's his first. Team foul number 3 on Illinois State. Wichita State with a 1-point lead and possession. We're midway through the second half. Midway through the Valley race, Wilson's going to go back to the line.
Wilson had a good angle then, Mitch, and slow filling by Carlwell.
Carlwell is trying to fill minutes here with the foul trouble the Redbirds have inside.
Nice entry right there. Plank gets caught on the high side, and that's where the whole problem starts. Plank can't get around. Carlwell has to finish, and he ends up getting the foul and looking like the bad guy.
Wilson 3 in a row at the line. He had 24 against Evansville earlier this year and 23 at Indiana State. Shockers have only lost twice. A home loss to the Manhattan Jaspers and that at Indiana State.
Dangerous time right now for Illinois State. They're only 3 behind, but they don't need this to get any further and get these people yelling anymore than what they already are.
Valley's been one of the top leagues in the country this year. We are in Wichita. Mitch Holtis along with Coach Spoonar courtside here at Koch Arena, and this has been an outstanding game. Illinois State is really competing here, and they've drawn a foul on Wichita State.
Guidry did what Porter Moser was talking about at halftime. He was answering a call right there, and he did a really good job of getting around people and getting to the basket and drawing the foul.
51-48 Wichita State, still 9:50 to go. We want to give a shout out to Porter Moser's wife. She's 8 months pregnant and broke her ankle in kind of a freak accident. Guidry for 3 in the corner.
cannot help off Guidry, and that time Howard, who had just checked back in the ball game, helped, and then got burned.
Coach, you said Illinois State and your keys had to find Guidry. They found him, and Wichita State didn't.
He's pretty easy to find. He's around the ball.
Jamar Howard with a point blanker. Missed it, but it's a step out. Plank had it and stepped out of bounds.
Howard has not had a good night inside shooting the basketball. It's been a struggle for him. He's 3 for 9 right now, I believe.
People forget now, when you get this deep into the season, that he had back problems at the beginning of the year. He missed the early stuff for Wichita State.
Burns, excuse me, Mitch. Burns needs to get a look at the basket, I think.
Wilson gets a good look inside against Plank.
Again, caught on the high side defensively. And you're in the same occurrence. High side, balls entered, high side, Plank fills, but he's late getting it. And you're putting the wrong man at the free throw if you're Illinois State.
Wichita State is 8 of 10 at the line to get a good free throw shooting team, but that's helped out by Wilson being 4 for 4, as you see. 81% for the year, so it's not an aberration. And again, Wichita State last year set a school record 74% from the foul line. They're not far behind this year at 73.3. Wichita State 8-1 at home this year. They started the year 9-0. That tied the best start in school history. 3-point lead.
Excuse me. Free throws are huge. That's what makes the job of Illinois State even a little more remarkable. They have not been a good free throw shooting team, and they've still found ways to win.
Green gets Breyer one-on-one underneath. Robbed by the rim. Tough play by Gordon. He tipped it out. It's going to Wichita State. And I don't think Porter-Moser is telling the official about his wife, who's back home and normal with a broken ankle and a sprained other ankle.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're discussing anything about ankles right there. Guidry's doing a very nice job on Burns right now.
Blank gamble. That leaves Howard with the stuff.
And that'll cause a timeout.
And that's a 2-possession lead for Wichita State if you subtract it. 8:38 left in the game. And Illinois State's lack of depth inside and foul trouble starting to hurt them a little bit. Howard with the bucket. He's got 17 points. With the dunk that gave him a dozen, but it gives Wichita State a 4.2 possession lead. Not an empty seat in this building tonight. Good feet inside. Gordon had it contested. Liberty. Howard eating them up inside.
That was just strength right there. Howard got his momentum moving towards the goal, and he just twirled right through everybody for that basket.
This team has a very high assist ratio. Look at the passing here.
And Howard expected the ball. That's when you've got a good basketball team, when guys are looking for each other, and it's not a surprise when it happens.
Guidry was fouling. That's his second. They're going to give it to Vince Green. 3-point play for Howard. He's got 15 points. He's hit his last 4 free throws. There's your assist. That's been a trademark of this team as well, Spoon. They pass it well. Wichita State passes it very well. O'Geary on a bump and run, and that puts Illinois State in the 1-1. Guidry's going to have a 1-1 when we come back. 7:56 left in the game, and all of a sudden Wichita at Koch Arena. Wichita State was down by 7 at half. They lead by 7 now. Jamar Howard gets a key to the club, the 1400 club. He's got 1,406 career points. He and Randy Burns both over 1,400 points. The 7th pair in Valley history, the 3rd from Wichita State to have 1,400 points and playing on the same team. The G-men Last year's Bradley team had Philip Gilbert and James Gillingham, and Guidry misses the front end of a 1-and-1, and he's usually very good at the line. A miss for Wichita State.
Had a little tangle up in backcourt, and Guidry and Howard both smile at each other, and they're both playing hard as the devil.
Guidry shot that one out of rhythm. Wanted it early, then thought about it. Liberty usually left open. Adam Liberty doesn't score much, but when he does, they're big. That one's big. It puts Wichita State up 9.
Give Howard some credit on that too, because he was running interference going down, and now Guidry looks like pulled up lane. You have to hope this is just a cramp right here, Mitch, not a sprain or something of that nature.
Now Guidry has played hard, Spoon. We both noticed. Not only has he had to work hard offensively, he's worked hard defensively. This is the way he's worked all night, but let's see if we can see maybe if he cramps up here.
Maybe stepping on a foot right there. Stepped on a shoe right there. Stepped on Wilson's foot. But he is a tough young man. Look at him.
First of all, I'm impressed with the condition he's in. He's got, you can see he's worked in the offseason. He's a little leaner, feistier, but he works hard now on both ends of the floor. You know, some shooters will say, you know what, you guys guard, and then throw it to him.
We were watching him, Mitch, you and I, and he was really working at covering people. He's a good defender. He'll rebound. He passes. He's a very good basketball player.
He's going to play some ball after he leaves Illinois State someplace. 7:09 left in the game. Illinois State that has fought its tail off. Now down 9. But Shocker's so good at home.
If you don't like this game, you really don't care much for basketball, because this is effort. This is a very good basketball game.
6 to shoot. Dilligard has been tough tonight. He's got 9.
There'll be a point where fouling Dilligard rather than letting him shoot that would be an option, I think.
Deep catch, Wilson. Over to double team. Tough defense by Illinois State. Dilligard, nope. It's going to be a foul on Wilson reaching in.
Usually when the other team rebounds the ball, your chances of grabbing it and yanking it away from them are not very good. But that ball had floated a little bit and bounced around, and it's too appetizing right there for Wilson.
It is 1-1 for Illinois State, but the aforementioned Mr. Dilligard will shoot the 1-1. He's 32% for the year. He's 25% in this game.
That's the only hole he's got, Mitch. He can put the ball on the floor a little bit. He's aggressive. He rebounds. He can shoot it in close, and he defends the dickens out of things.
31 blocks coming into the game. He's got to shoot it into the Fidels. Doesn't get the roll.
That's 2 that if you're a guy that's considered a good shooter, it probably goes in for you.
Miller, great double team.
Dilligard left the double, and then the deflection.
Turnovers a bit of a problem for Wichita State, mostly in the first half. They now have 12 for the game. 6 minutes to go.
You get this game to 7 and 9, you need to take it on up, particularly with Guidry out of the ball game. You need to have a longer possession, maybe, and get exactly what you want.
Guidry's showing a little bit of pain over there on the bench. Gordon in there. He gets fouled by Howard.
And that's a foul. Howard is trying to act as though he's been wrong there, but he reaches in pretty good right here. It's a good reaction by Howard, but
now Gordon's going to the line. A little bit different story. He's 64%. There's your free throws. Illinois State 3 of 10, the worst free throw shooting team in the league. But Mr. Dilligard is 1 of 4 of that. Gordon gets the coupon. That gives him 11. He's 3 of 3 in the game.
And Guidry has rejoined us.
I think Porter Mosher said, how's the ankle, and didn't really want to hear the answer.
didn't wait around for the reply. Just pushed him on towards the goal. press has changed, Mitch. This with up on the ball, this is the press that double teams right here.
Wichita State had a little bit of a problem on the road against Northern Iowa. Look at Liberty, gets pickpocketed from behind by Green, and a near save by Howard. What an athletic play by Jamar Howard to even have a chance at this ball.
Great effort by Howard, but lost in this great effort. We're overlooking the fact that we just had a turnover again against the press. That's something that can ill afford at this point in the game.
Illinois State down 5 with possession. Long way to go. It's just at 5:22 to play.
Great help by Howard then to keep Alexander from getting a look at a three.
.11 to shoot. Kuznard bothering Guidry. Gordon, great defense by Miller.
Tough shot.
Liberty, Green is all over him. Howard says, my ball.
Burns is standing wide open over here on the right.
Howard inside. A foul on Dilligard. That's his 4th.
That's pretty strong to get the ball through arms like Howard did. I think they're maybe missing an opportunity to get Burns a good look at the basket because he's standing right over there on the right-hand side wide open.
He was emailing his teammates, I think, saying, I'm over here anytime you want to find me. He's got 17, as we mentioned. Howard has 15.
He's been stuck on 17 for considerable time. That's the thing.
That is 5 in a row from Jamar Howard at the foul line. Played at Shawnee-Mission Miege, Bishop Miege High School in Kansas City for the Stags. Got them both.
That's how you win ball games. You hit free throws.
Back to a 7-point advantage for Wichita State.
He's thinking about stops right now, and of course Porter Moser's thinking about how do we get a good look at the basket for Guidry.
And in both these teams, Spoon, I'll be honest, I'm seeing a Lolly Frazier in the 13th round. There's some fatigue showing a little bit here. Guidry trying to create. Kuznard. And you can hear the crowd's opinion of that call.
Guidry was going to make sure he got a shot for his team. This is very good defense leads up to right here, but when you reach in, even though you get a lot of ball, when you reach in, chances are there's going to be a foul call.
Guidry just missed the front of a 1-and-1. Right out of scoring average. This is a 2-shot foul because Illinois State is in the coveted double bonus situation.
Well, Illinois State just doesn't show any inclination to go away. That's the thing. They are hanging with this. You'll see if they come back with the press with a one-man front on top.
I cannot tell you how impressed I am with this team and the turnaround from a year ago. They were down in the basement deep, checking the canned tomatoes. This year, much, much better.
Change up on his defense. This is the matchup out of the 1-3-1 right here.
Good recovery by Guidry on Burns.
I think that would behoove anyone to recover quickly on him.
Shot clock at 8. Burns.
Great screen.
It's going to be a foul. It'll be 1-and-1. Howard will shoot it because he set the screen.
That's one of the most overlooked things.
SMS leads Creighton. The Bears have turned their season around maybe.
SMS early on, Mitch, really looked good playing against Oklahoma. They didn't score well, but everything else was in play.
They put a 92 spot on Southern Illinois. Vince Green to the basket. He'll get free throws. And that is the guy they want to get to the line. Because Vince Green is 55 of 59 at the foul line this year.
Kuznard was in the right place then, Mitch. He was standing in help position, and everything was right except his posture. If he'd turned and faced that just a little bit more, he might have got the call.
You've seen the lead. He leads the Valley in free tosses. He's hit 25 straight. Until. And that's when Porter Mosier's going, wait a minute, that's not Dilligard at the line. It's Vince Green. Vince had 57 in a row at one time in his career at the line. Plus, he was 17 of 17 in road wins at Indiana State and Creighton.
The hard press coming here now.
Illinois State still within 4 for him.
And they've had a couple free throw misses that have probably frustrated them just as coach also.
The Birds are still lurking in the weeds here. Wichita State trying to put them away. Shockers again playing their 4th game in a week.
Zone defense, and it's this way they get to double down.
Wilson had Burns open and didn't find him on a kickout. Timeout, Mark Curtin.
Wilson had an idea about leaving and going somewhere, but he forgot the color. He had to shoot it. You can go back and get it. And I think that's about all Coach Turgeon could put up with this time in the game.
3:12 remaining in the game. 4-point lead for Wichita State. The Southside State Farm players of the game. For Illinois State, it is Trey Guidry. 17 points for Guidry. 3 from bonus distance. And it's just been outstanding.
Played both ends of the floor as we talked about. He's handled the ball. He's sprained an ankle and played through that. And when things have been tough, he's been the one that's tried to make the plays that's kept Illinois State afloat.
Randy Burns brought Wichita State back into the game. There's a look at Guidry. But our State Farm player of the game for Wichita State, Guidry for the Redbirds, but for Wichita State, Randy Burns. He brought him back. They were down 7 at half, and Burns went nuts at the beginning of the second half to get Wichita State the lead.
And the guy standing by him guarding him is Guidry. And that may be part of the reason that things have been a little more quiet.
4 to shoot, Liberty. Big bucket. Adam Liberty for 3. That's only his 5th all season in 17 attempts. He's had 5 big points in the second half.
That was a big play. 4 on the shot clock when Liberty took the shot.
And teams have been backing off of him too, Spoon. Okay, it's Liberty. Back off, back off.
That's off the move. He had to put a move on to get the shot. And he was under control. That was a good-looking play.
He has never scored in double figures in his career. In 2 years at Wichita State. Guidry to the line here to get a couple. It's a quick way to get back in it. Score when the clock's not moving. If you can make it. Guidry's at 3 in a row.
And looks like he's going to make a lot more, too. Those are right in the dead middle.
Another answer by Illinois State. 5-point lead for Wichita State. Again, the Shockers on the verge of getting ranked into the top 25. They were 27th this week. Nice move by Howard. That time the Rabbit took it from the Tasmanian Devil.
Did a great job of slipping the screen and getting in position. Just didn't finish the play.
Illinois State this year, too, noticing they understand roles a whole lot better.
I didn't get to see them as much as you did last year, but obviously this ball club right here is playing to win. They're not worrying about individual things at all.
10 to shoot. Guidry against Howard. Tough take. Great defense. Liberty and Howard had him in jail. Wichita State with numbers and a tip. Howard has 19.
I was looking at the Wichita State bench. There were mixed emotions on whether or not we ought to lob that up, but as it comes down and goes in, it turns out to be a heck of a play.
But in the first half, Wichita State did not create offense with its defense. They did here.
That's the play right there that occurred just a moment ago, and Cousinard didn't do as Liberty did. He did not get squared away and draw the lick. On that play, Liberty does, then takes the ball and advances up the floor. Great running by Howard to be there being part of the play.
And Howard has 19-14 in the second half. Our Rawlings play of the game, a presentation of Rawlings. Here's your reset. Illinois State has just one timeout left. Wichita State with a full and a 30. The Redbirds own the arrow, but they are down 7. Jamar Howard, a huge second 20 for Wichita State, including a 3 that started all this in the second half.
We'll see what the play is coming out. I bet it goes inside.
Or flank, trying to find Gordon. Gordon tough, and he gets fouled.
Gordon went after the ball that time. I mean, you talk about being a man going after a ball. Now, he was serious about that.
4 fouls. It's going to be on Wilson. Kyle Wilson picks up his 4th foul. You know what? Illinois State fans are rediscovering this ball club again. The crowds have been better, but for the remainder of the year, it would behoove Redbird fans to find the arena again and watch these guys. They deserve it.
No, this is a good basketball team, and they're playing through quite a bit of adversity here. Now they've been on the road running around, and they've got to be tired. The bench is short.
Free throws have been a problem. Illinois State has shot 20 of them and made just 10.
Smart play.
And then in the corner, Kuznard says, let's run. Now I'm going to run clock. 3 threes for Kuznard.
I'm looking at the bench again, and while they're loving a couple of those plays, I think it makes them a little bit nervous.
Kuznard came into the game with 7 3-point makes for the year. He's got 3 in this game. And the Shockers get fouled by Green and now ready to close this one out. Let's don't forget they were down double digits in the first half and down 7 at halftime.
Being at home is a nice place, particularly when you're behind and you need help. It's great to be at home.
Lots of energy. Kuznard's in double digits with his 10th point.
Free throws go down a little easier at home, I think, too.
Well, the Phi Delta are yelling at the other guys. They're cheering for you to throw them. Good second half for Kuznard. Shockers brewing in here in the second half, up by a dozen. Vince Green drains a 3. Timeout, Illinois State.
They will not. They absolutely will not leave. They're going to try to stay in the ballgame.
And they're down 9, and they've missed 10 free throws.
Oh, boy.
43 seconds left in the game. Here's what's coming up. Illinois State doesn't get any easier, but they do get some home games. That's what I'm saying. If you're a Redbird fan, look at this stretch.
That's what you're looking for. Keep playing as hard as you can here. You've got Wichita State coming back to you. I mean, those are things that you have to remember. This has been a good outing for Illinois State on the road. You can say what you want to, but with the foul trouble, all the things that have gone wrong, they've done a great job. They've executed the game plan. They've missed free throws. We're aware of that, but they've done everything or tried about everything. Now it's just a matter of somebody stepping up and starting to make it.
Look at the crowd here. Now, I'm going to tell you, sometimes you win when you lose. You know when this whole crowd thing started for Wichita State, really? Last year in the NIT. They played Florida State Spoon in the NIT, and they lost in double overtime. There's a 6th sellout of the year. They had an incredible game against Florida State. Mark Turgeon left the arena and said, that was unbelievable. And I've heard so many people talk about it. Sometimes you can win when you lose, and I get the same feeling for Illinois State with the effort that they've had in this game.
If they will just build from this and not take it, just don't take it personally. They've done a great job tonight. They're playing the #1 team in the league on their floor.
That game against Florida State last year, it's become the cool thing